On behalf of Hindu Military Education Societies, Bhosla Military College, I, Major Vikram Kavle, ANO, welcome you all for the four-day lecture series on the occasion of 140th of Dharmavir Dr. Balakrishna Shivram Munjeji. Bhosla Military School was established by Dr. Munjeji in 1937 and its natural extension, Bhosla Military College, in the year 1986. The students of this esteemed institute, who are called as Ramdandis, have served our motherland by joining armed forces as an officer to high ranks. Some are still serving and many more have taken admission with the same aim to join Indian Armed Forces as an officer. To commemorate 148th birth anniversary of late Dr. B.S. Munjeji, today we have with us Major General Om Praksh Soni, VSM, as an eminent speaker. And this session is chaired by Captain Dr. S.G. Narode sir, Chairman CHB Society, Nasik Division, Nasik. Also, we have with us Captain Ajit G. Odekar, Chairman Bhosla Career Academy, Nasik, a wing which is taking all efforts to prepare the young students of society to either join armed forces as an officer through NDA or CDS. Today we have with us Dr. Dilip G. Belgaonkar, General Secretary, Central Hindu Military Education Society, Shri Hemanchi Deshpande, Secretary, Nasik Division, Central Hindu Military Education Society, other office bearers of Central Hindu Military Education Society, and Dr. U.I. Kulkarni, Principal, Bhosla Military College, Nasik. We do have with us Captain Dr. Narone sir. May I request Honorable Captain Ajit G. Odekar sir, Chairman, Bhosla Career Academy, Nasik, to please welcome today's guest speaker, Chairperson, and all the audience present for this lecture. Captain Ajit G. Odekar sir, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen across the country who are attached with this on YouTube or other sources to our lecture series. With today's lecture series, we come to an end of this 148th birth anniversary lecture, and I welcome all guests on this series, especially General Soni, Dr. Narone, Dr. Belgaonkar, and all other luminaries on the screen. Aim of this series to make aware students and general public about India's security matters and allied subjects. This series started from 12 December 2020. Major General Oak, VSM, Chair of Excellence in SPPU, Savitribai Phule, Pune University. He spoke on the military leadership in contemporary India. Dr. Vijay Khare, second lecture was by Dr. Khare, HOD Defense Studies, Savitribai Phule, Pune Universities. Subject was Bharat Ratna Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Thought on Defense in Present Situation. Third lecture was by Major General Shishir Mahajan, Sena Medal, VSM. His subject was Geostrategy and India's Border Management. Dr. Shishir Mahajan is presently Deputy Director of Center for Advanced Strategies and Studies, Pune. And now today's lecture is Major General Om Praksh Soni, VSM. His subject is Non-Traditional Security Threats and Challenges to India. He is presently working as a Dean, Faculty of Management and Hospitality Graphic Era, University of Dehradun. I take this as an opportunity to introduce in a very short about the CHME, Central Hindu Military Education Society, which was founded in 1937 by Dharmavir Dr. Munje to impart military training to Indian youth and also train them to become officers in Indian Army. So far, over 500 officers have joined Indian Army who were alumni of Bhosla. Recently, Bhosla Career Academy has been entrusted to coordinate training of Bhosla and outside students to enable them to pass UPSC exam and NDA, CDSE and SSB courses. We wish to provide a quality and affordable military training and education to all strata of students all over India. Once again, I welcome all the guests here for the series. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, may I take this opportunity to introduce today's guest speaker, Major General O.P. Soni, Vishishta Seva Medal. Major General O.P. Soni, VSM, is an artillery officer. He has served in Indian Army for 38 years. Officer has commanded a battery, a subunit, a regiment as a unit, and a brigade in Srinagar, Baramulla, and Jammu district to fight against terrorists in that region. Officer, in his army tenure, has also served as Deputy Director General of Perspective Planning at Integrated Headquarters of Ministry of Defense. He was the Principal Director of Strategic Operations, Strategic Forces Command, which is responsible for the management and administration of nuclear missile stockpiles. He was also Brigade Major of Headquarters of Infantry Brigade. He was Chief Instructor at School of Artillery, Devlali, Nasik. He is a recipient of President's Scout Medal on 26 October 1968. And he has received Vishishta Seva Medal on 26 Jan 2013. He has completed his MA in Economics, MBA, MSc in Technology and Weapon System, MSc in Defense Studies, and also LLB. He has MPhil degree in two subjects, defense management as well as national security and strategy. He has done PhD in disaster management. Presently, he is a professor in School of Management Studies, Graphic Era, University, Dehradun. I welcome a very senior and highly studied officer as a guest speaker. Now, let me introduce the chairperson for today's lecture, Captain Dr. S.G. Naravne, sir. Presently, he is a chairman of Central Hindu Military Education Society, Nasik Division, Nasik. Captain Dr. S.G. Naravne has served in Indian Armed Forces as a doctor. He has done research on avalanches and cold injuries. He is associated with the field of education since last 10 years. He has always motivated all by his support. Now, may I request Shri Mayurji Patil to please present the Padya on this occasion. Mayurji Patil.
समाज जीवन भारुनी टाकू चैतन्याने मानाने वैभवशाली भवितव्याला नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने दशशतकांचे दैन्य टाकुनी जागृत करूया जनशक्ती पराक्रमाची अनप्रतिभेची जगास दाऊ अभिव्यक्ती राष्ट्रपुरुष हा सुदृढ करूया पुन्हा एकदा यत्नाने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने सागर लाटा रोज सांगती नव्या युगाची आभाने गिरिशिखरातुनी ऐकू येती मायभूमीची जय गाणे ती आव्हाने पेलायाला उभे राहूया ऐक्याने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने परिश्रमांचा सेतू बांधू संघटनेच्या दलभारे नको कुणाची कृपा आपणा आक्रमू धरती नभसारे व्यक्ती व्यक्तीच्या कर्तृत्वाला उधाण आणू सहजपणे नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने भेदभावना भिंती पाडू समतेची गाथा गाऊ उच्च नीचता गाडूनी टाकू नवी दिशा नवगती घेऊ कळी काळावरी मात करूया तेज भारल्या भक्तीने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने समाज जीवन भारुनी टाकू चैतन्याने मानाने वैभवशाली भवितव्याला नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने नटवू निज कर्तृत्वाने.
धन्यवाद मयूर जी. Now may I request General Soni sir to please present his lecture.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed grateful to General Shikatka, PVSM, AVSM, VSM, President of the Society, Dr. Naravane, Ajit Odheka, and every one of you, whether in India or abroad, who is part of this event this evening. In continuation of 148th birth anniversary of late Dharamveer Dr. B.S. Munje. Today, when we talk about the threats to the security of India, let's have a little different perspective, and we will be sharing non-traditional security issues and challenges to India with you. End of the Cold War and the rise of globalization has changed the concept of national security amongst the nations. As a consequence, not only military security alone, but non-traditional securities are gaining limelight against the traditional security. Therefore, we must understand what is national security and how does non-traditional security threat become an issue of debate. In short, we would say that national security is the security and defense of nation, including its citizen, economy, and institution. A very good definition has been provided by National Defence College of India, which says it's an appropriate and aggressive blend of political resilience and maturity, human resource, economic structure, capacity, technical competence, industrial base, and availability of natural resources, and finally the military might. So, point to understand, military might is part of national security, but there are far too many subjects which also take their importance. So, therefore, non-traditional security issues, when we say, a good definition which sums up the whole thing is they are defined as challenges to the survival and well-being of people, and states that arise primarily out of non-state actors. So when we look at traditional security, what we always understood, and when we go to non-traditional, the subject is pretty clear. It is beyond military, and it is the conditions which are necessary for human survival. And therefore, it covers far broader aspects of security such as hunger, disease, and it is not only restricted to the state. As I said, non-state actors play an important role as far as this is concerned. So, if I were to list out the features or the characteristics of non-traditional security, it is basically non-military in nature, it is transnational in scope, that is neither totally domestic nor purely interstate. As we move ahead, we shall be looking at these. And they are transmitted rapidly due to the globalization. One of the ills of the globalization, I would say, is the threat to security in form of non-traditional aspects. Now, when we look at the non-traditional security aspects, and we have the concern of India, let's see. The first one is the food security. Now, what does food security mean as far as we are concerned? When all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food to meet their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. This is what United Nations has defined as food security. Just to highlight aspects of this, it's availability, access. So it's not merely that you have the stockpile available with you, but is it available in terms of people have access to it? And a very important aspect of that is the equitable distribution. Utilization. It should be nutritious, safe, and it should therefore bring to us that availability, access, and utilization of appropriate food according to the preference being available is food security. When we talk about the challenges as far as India is concerned, the food security, our population is still going. And I don't think we are going to stabilize anything before 2050, 2060 as far as our growth rate is concerned. It is one of the reasons, the food security, the availability of the food, that we are still considered least developed nation, because malnutrition is prevalent and is affecting, especially when we look at the infant mortality rate and mother mortality rate, it concludes that a lot needs to be done. And therefore, what we can do, matter of government policy, short and long-term choices, political dialogue, effective implementation of public distribution system. A program which Rajasthan has tried, management of acute malnutrition, by creating various groups, reaching out to the population, can be copied, can be followed by others also. After food security comes climate change and environmental pollution. It is a big challenge. When we talk about the environment, whether it's pearly burning in the states of Haryana, Rajasthan, along the NCR, or whether we talk about the effect, the fossil fuel, the greenhouse effect, the point at issue is that we need to take this because it is affecting the population as a whole. It is affecting the quality of life, the health. One of the measures which the government has recently put into place, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which involves not only the measures undertaken by the government, but expectations from the individual. There's need for education, there's need for compliance. Another method, it could be adopted like France and Netherlands have done, is taxation. Water scarcity and contamination is yet another threat which affects our security. Population, availability of potable water, and I would say that we have not been just as far as the rainwater and the rainwater harvesting is concerned. We need to focus on collaborating research institutions which shall be able to help us. We need to bring in the people on board through mass education. Firstly, the consumption of the water. Secondly, the management of the water. And thirdly, the water harvesting. Because as we all say, water is life. There are still parts of India where people are deprived, are devoid of the potable water. In Rajasthan, deep interiors, people are still living with the brackish water. Energy security. How long we are going to continue and how long we are going to depend upon Middle East. And therefore, we need to find the answer. We need to find answer in terms of alternate source of energy. We need to find answer in terms of nuclear energy. And of course, little dependence which is there shall continue on the fossil fuel. Energy conservation system law, therefore, should be in place. And in addition to this, the energy security issue, when we talk about this, we also need to take as to what should provide a very high standard of security as far as energy security is concerned. When we look at this, technology is one issue. Economically recoverable supply of coal, oil, gas. We have availability. We need to take and make best use. Coming to the next issue, it is the public health issue, especially looking at public health, important aspect we are facing today, COVID pandemic. So infectious diseases, epidemic, etc. should be taken care of. Infrastructure should support that. It was little some time back, we had a case. I mean, it was many number of children died in Gorakhpur Baba Raghav Das Hospital merely because of the gas supply, non-availability, ill-equipped, and such like thing. Recently, we had a case in Rajasthan, just about the last week. Now, therefore, not only infrastructure, I would say commitment is another issue. People who are involved in that, their commitment, ensuring efficient operations. As far as the present COVID-19 is concerned, it did come, it has been with us, we are living with it. Fortunate part is that we have been able to gear up the systems, the machinery in place, mobilize resources, be it the surveillance, workforce, laboratory, medical establishment. But the fact remains that it did affect us initially, and I would not say we were caught off guard, but our preparation did call for little questions. Disaster. Disaster, be it natural, be it man-made, affects the whole lifestyle. You know, till about 2002, in India, disaster was the subject of Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperation. For the reason that we knew only few disasters like floods, droughts, landslide, and cyclones. It was only after about 2004 or so that Ministry of Home Affairs has taken charge of the disaster. And thereafter, we have come with an organization, National Disaster Relief Force, which has presence in different part of country, pretty well equipped, and their equipment well displaced so that situation and challenges can be met. Now, what is really required? As far as disaster is concerned, the first and the foremost thing is that capacity building. When we talk about the capacity building, that is a thing like landslide taking place can be well managed, but a cyclone or an earthquake doesn't give you a warning at all. So we can prepare the people. We can, through the community-based organizations, we can inform them, we can teach them, and make them prepared so that should an event of this nature, so that if casualty takes place, the management can be organized. It's a very important aspect, and we have, I would say, that the Latur was one of the pretty well managed disaster situation. Gujarat also, though things were really, really bad in 2002, I'm talking about, but we did manage pretty well. Now with our NDRF in place, with the organization and the National Disaster Management Authority, I think our nation is pretty well geared up to meet the disastrous situation, be it man-made or be it natural disaster. International terrorism is yet another security challenge as far as we are concerned, and when we talk about the non-traditional security threat. As it says, deliberate creation and exploitation of fear through the violence or the threat of violence. Because we all have seen what has happened in Syria in the very recent past, the actions of the IS is issued the non-traditional security aspects are concerned. As far as India is concerned, we all know what is happening today. I would not like to go into the details of what is happening in our national capital region, the Kisan agitation. But if you look at carefully, there are elements beyond Kisans who are part of this. The funding, we all can see, we all can very well conclude what are the agencies. Pakistan, of course, is a known source. The movement suddenly, which was supposed to be Kisan oriented, is talking about the Kashmir, it is talking about the 370, it is talking about 35. So all these are challenges, all these are mind-boggling, and they do affect our national security. UNESCO has said that violence begins from the mind. I would like to quote here Sadbhavna missions which are undertaken by Indian Armed Forces, Indian military, that is winning the hearts and mind of the people, winning the youth, taking them away from the path of militancy to the constructive India. We are doing, as far as the nation is concerned, as far as the society is concerned, as far as the organization is concerned, a lot being done. But the fact remains that firstly, the support from our neighbors, and secondly, the role being played by certain vested interests. One can only say and leave it to your imagination that what was such a hurry that Canadian Prime Minister has to jump into the Kisan agitation, or the members of the Parliament, British Parliament, have to give vent to their opinion as far as the Kisan agitation is concerned. I would only say it is fueling the fire. Another issue which affects all of us in some form or other, directly or indirectly, illegal immigration. Illegal migration, we are pretty well aware, all those who are in the National Capital Region, any maid working in a house belongs to a place called Malda. I mean, at times I really get surprised that how many people have migrated from Malda to National Capital Region. The fact is, all these people have fake identity card. They are Bangladeshis, have got some address, some protection in form of the people, and they are now in huge numbers in National Capital Region. The problem has been further accentuated with the moving of the Rohingya Muslims all over. And the Rohingyas, by the way, it is not only they're restricted to the National Capital Region, they have reached even as close as Pune, Nasik, and nearby areas. Government of India last year, with the amendment to the Citizenship Act, has tried to put a curb. I wonder when the NCR and when this CAA shall be effective, we'll be able to identify all those who are non-Indian and take suitable action as far as their presence in India is concerned. Yet another non-traditional security threat is the organized crime, whether it's a money laundering, whether it's a counterfeit currency. They all somewhere or the other linked with the terrorist and the underworld, undermining the national interest of our country. And despite the fact that our Informants Directorate, our various agencies, yet this business is prospering. Let me just give an example. We all have got these car wash points in near our houses, or a cyclist stand or a scooter parking. Have you ever thought what actually is happening in many of these cases? The gentleman washes 3 cars at the rate of 200, his income is only 600 for the day. But at the end of the day, when you look at his income, he projects it at 6,000 rupees. So in a month, 1,80,000. He may not have washed even 20 cars in the month, but the entire black money has now been laundered into white money, which can be pretty well, it may have come from extortion, it may have come from some different route, but now it is part of your white money. We have got our laws in place, but how effective and how well they are being enforced, that's the issue. Next point, I would like to talk about the human security. Basically, Basically, the human security is what? It's freedom for violence and fear from violence. A man who's under threat cannot live peacefully, cannot be happy. And this threat could be form of local threat by a Muslim, of grabbing your property or taking away your crop, or it could be in form of threat of war, mass genocide, or displacement, what we saw in Kashmir just about quarter a century back. So a person should have freedom from violence and fear of violence to have a stable, peaceful life. And if that is not there, it does affect him, his quality, and eventually the quality of the people of the society and nation. So therefore, our endeavor should be to minimize the impact of insecurity which is there, which is causing concern. We are pretty well aware of what is happening in Middle East. We are also aware that we just talked about Rohingyas, the moving in of the Rohingyas in our country, and how it is affecting our society. गरीबी से बड़ी कोई बीमारी नहीं है. Poverty is yet another issue. And when we look at the poverty, actually it is a rising gap between the rich and the poor. And why it is there? When we look at the food security, non-availability, or despite being available, not there, reach is not there, access to the food is not there, population itself growing, and therefore limited resources, growing population, the share continues going down. And of course, the corruption and black money needs to be understood, first of all, that elevation of poverty is an important aspect for bringing in a secure environment in the nation. Because poor has nothing to lose. And he can be pretty well exploited. All these dharnas, agitations, and rallies, what you find, the people who have been just given one meal for the day, 40 rupees, 60 rupees, or at the bus travel. And they are there for dharna. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but when you look at the Kisan agitation today, and when you look at the periphery of Delhi, the food, the pizza, the dry fruit being served. So all those who have nothing, they are also there. And swelling the number appears as if 2.5 crore people have come. Actually speaking, they are vested interests who are bringing them. So poverty is a very big issue. It's a very big threat to the national security. Training, family planning norms, and of course providing the employment, Atmanirbhar, what our Prime Minister has talked about, what he's doing about it. I think maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but sometime the effect would be seen. Nuclear security is at another dimension, and more so when we have nation like Pakistan sitting next to us. Why? It is not only that you have to use a missile 300, 500 or 1000 kilometers. Atomic demolition munition are the small arsenal which can be used with a very little quantity of the enriched uranium. And if you do not have the enriched uranium properly secured, we have got Korea, we have got Pakistan next door to us. It can be very well accessed by terrorist organization. And why accessed? It can be even made available. I don't think we all have forgotten about AQ Khan. And the same can be used. Now remember, it's not only the destruction or the casualties caused by the fire. It is the radiation effect. which has many ills associated with it. We ought to be, therefore, careful about the nuclear security aspect is concerned. We ought to be geared up for that, but knowing pretty well that somebody, somewhere, it may happen in our neighborhood. Chemical and biological weapon. In some form or other, right from the Boer War, it has been used. And as we know, the difference between the chemical available today in form of fertilizer or in various form, conversion of it into the weapon grade is not a big deal. And therefore, not only we need to guard, nobody knows Corona-19, whether it is a Wuhan gift of some lab or whether it is some other process and phenomena. The fact is, it is a real threat. And if it is a real threat, we need to strengthen the control regime. We need to have antidotes. We need to have research establishment involved, studying known agents. Candidates should be prepared. We are seeing it for ourselves that Corona-19, we are still in the process of developing a vaccine and the masses are suffering. Economic security. Actually, what I have talked about food security or what I have talked about the transnational security aspect of the terrorist organization or counterfeit, they all come into part of this economic security. And the biggest thing is the black money. Despite the fact we went through the process of demonetization, with Prime Minister Modi giving a big deal to it, still are we devoid or have we got the rid of black money? I don't think so. Though effect is visible in the market today, as far as the real estate is concerned, it is still trying to grapple with the situation. Trade imbalance is another issue. And of course, counterfeit currency, we are pretty well aware that how the counterfeit currency has been pumped into our country from Bangladesh. We change our currency notes, yet it is a problem. Government is pretty well seized of this, and not only that tax base is being enhanced, technology is being brought into. Most of our transactions today is e-mode. It is certainly being taken care of, but there is a need for stringent measures in this regard and for educating our people. Any WhatsApp group, 10 messages out of 100 have something to do with what we understand as religious extremism. Religious extremism describes faith-based action that are deliberate attempt to cause harm to other people. There's nothing wrong in propagating your own religion. Even the Constitution of India gives you that. But when it causes that divide, that is the problem. The fact of the day is our social fabric is totally affected by this problem of extremism, religious extremism. Our messages, our interactions, somewhere or other, are getting oriented to our religious faith. Fundamentalism is taking a heavy toll as far as our thought processes are concerned. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, unity in diversity, all this has been our way of life. We have always thought peaceful coexistence is the best form to live together. But in the recent past, reasons for whatsoever may be have affected our way of life. Time has now come to realize the ill effects of this, take corrective measures, bring in the good old bonhomie which used to be prevalent right from the village level and then going upwards. We have had rights. I've just quoted two very famous rights which we had in Uttar Pradesh, Shamli rights and Saharanpur rights. Loss of people, people who left their villages haven't come back even till date. So what we can do about it? I think the first thing is that people must get involved in their professional core, and thereby they will get lesser time for such unwanted, undesirable activity. Media needs to play a very important, positive role. Actually, today, when we look at our media, especially the electronic media and the television, I don't think they have performed their duty well. Instead of bringing the society together, getting them on board, probably they have not played their role effectively. Either they have widened the divide or they have not taken measures to bridge the divide. Of course, legal cure, laws should take its own course, people involved be identified and punished as for the law of the land is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, we therefore saw that when we talk about the security of a nation, it is not only the military security, it is not only the state which is involved as far as the security is concerned. Apart from military security, the security in terms of non-traditional issues such as food, energy, health, life with peace, all they are very important aspects, economic security of a nation. And this takes into account, other than military, other than the responsibility of a state, collaborative in nature, organizations, NGOs, community-based organization, social outfit, they all are important and can play a role in it. When we see our country, how we are going about it, I would only say that we are concerned, nation is concerned, whether it's a lawmaking like Citizenship Amendment Act or NRC or the Money Laundering Act. So we are seized of the problem. As far as the food security is concerned, notwithstanding ills, our public distribution system has been able to reach nooks and corners of the country, providing the nutritious food at a reasonable price. We need to look at population growth, which affects the available resources. Remember, sustainable development as far as the nation is concerned is very important. We should not deprive our future generations of what we are enjoying today. Government has launched many schemes, be it food, be it Swasth Abhiyan, be it Atmanirbhar, but then it takes time. I'm sure today, be it availability of the medicine at the lower rates or comparatively much cheaper rate, or be it the health being taken care of those who can ill afford in the government hospital, including military hospitals, a good step. The point at issue is that non-traditional challenges cannot be ignored, because the nation's security is not only having military guarding the border and ensuring that Galwan is not repeated or the terrorists are taken care of and are killed well before they reach Kupwara or Handwara. It is people are at peace with themselves, can have the safe living, have the good food to eat, have water to drink, and have proper sense of security and citizenship. And this calls for a holistic approach in addressing all the non-traditional issues. Ladies and gentlemen, last 35 minutes, I have shared with you the non-traditional security threats as far as India is concerned. We are part of India. We are part of this beautiful country. And in our own way, we can contribute best. I just talked about religious fundamentalism taking the toll in our own mohallas, villages, bringing the bonhomie what we had enjoyed when we were young 50 years back, 30 years back is not a very difficult thing. Understanding each other, sharing with each other, that's all is required. Thank you once again. I thank Central Hindu Military Education Society, Nasik, Jan Shikatkar, Colonel Navane, Ajit, and every member of the team for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on non-traditional security threats concerning and challenges to India. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a indeed pleasure to listen to you. It was a totally different topic you shared with us. So once again, I thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now may I request today's chairperson, Captain Dr. S.G. Narone, sir, to please sum up the topic.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Sir.
Sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Major General Om Praksh Soni, VSM. It was indeed a privilege to listen to your thought-provoking talk, and it certainly did educate the uninitiated in the non-traditional security and threats to India, especially the challenges to the survival of the nation-state by non-state actors. As the non-military nature, the transnational nature, and the transmitted rapidly due to aspects of globalization, these threats. You have elaborated on food security, climate change, environmental pollution, energy security, public health, disaster management, the natural as well as man-made, the important development by MHA for forming the NDRF and the NDR authority, their capacity building in overcoming the challenges of these disasters. Then you elaborated on international terrorism, especially the immediate threat posed by the Kisan Andolan in Delhi. Then you elaborated on the illegal migration by the Rohingyas and others. Then you talked about organized crime, money laundering, counterfeit currency. Then you talked on human security, then poverty, the gap between the rich and the poor. Then the nuclear security, especially the dirty bomb being developed by North Korea and Pakistan. The chemical and biological warfare, the economic security, especially the black money and the money stuck in the land deals. Then you talked of religious extremism, the riots been done in UP and Delhi as of late, and how to form Mohalla committees as of lower and prevent such actions in future. And the media, especially the Lutyens Delhi media, which is supporting these anti-national activities, and also the yellow journalism in the media, in the print media. Also, another threat is of Naxalism, the infiltration of urban Naxals in all our educational institutions and other government institutions. That is a major threat which is spreading all these terror activities in India. And once again, I thank you very much for elaborating on such a great topic, which none of us knew. We only thought that threat to India is by this military security and not by non-traditional security methods. Once again, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, may I request Honorable Dr. Dilip Ji Belgaonkar, sir, General Secretary, Central Hindu Military Education Society, to conclude the 4-day lecture series arranged to commemorate 140th birth anniversary of late Dharmavir Dr. B.S. Munjeji. Dr. Dilip Ji Belgaonkar, sir.
Good evening, one and all. Chairman President of CHME Society, General Dr. Shekatkar, then Chairman of today's session, Captain Dr. S.G. Naravne, Honorable Speaker of today's session, General Om Praksh Soni, Ajit Ji Odhekar, all office bearers of CHME Society, Principal of Bhosla Military College, then anchor of this particular session, Major Kavle, member of all members of this organizing committee, some dignitaries join with us, as well as some guests are there, and all the audience which has joined from different social medias. All of us, we are celebrating 140th birth anniversary of founder of CHME Society, Dharmavir Dr. Balkrishna Shivram Munje, to pay the homage to him. Proudly, I can say this is the only lecture series in Maharashtra which is devoted to national security. Sir, we are organizing such kind of lecture series from 1991. Last 19 years, in this lecture series, so many legends and stalwarts in the field of security presented their views, their opinions. The aim of this particular lecture series is to create the awareness among the students as well as society at large about the national security. And so far, I will say that today's your lecture is that way very important, eye-opener, that don't think about the threats from the outside the borders to the India, but we have to think about the national security within our country. What are the dimensions of national security that we have to consider? That you have enlightened our audience and given a, we can say that, a new perception, new view looking towards the national security. Thank you, Soni sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Sir, this is not a life mission of Central Hindu Military Education Society that to just organize a lecture series, because it is a part of our life mission. Our life mission is to train or create responsible citizens amongst India, as well as to give the military education and to work as a preparatory institution for entering youth into military forces, paramilitary forces, or in short, we can say that armed forces. This is the prime objective of this society. And proudly, I can say that more than 500 officers that this society has given to the nation. And this we can say that efforts are going on, and we are trying to increase the number of students who will go in armed forces. They will be selected, and we are trying to make our training more effective and more productive. The today's, we can say that, who has given an introduction of CHME Society, Captain Ajit Odhekar. He is a chairman of Bhosla Career Academy, and he is looking towards Bhosla Career Academy. And in the last 3-4 years, more than 25 students cracked the India exam, and they are entering into armed forces as an officer. Along with that, this particular society is running so many academic courses, then granted and non-granted schools, management institute, then nursing institute, different group of institutions are there. There we are taking care of different disciplines to train the students and groom them. It is my proud to tell you that we have started Ramdandi military training course for the students who are studying in 7th and 8th standard in non-military school, our non-military school. Because we have a residential school of Bhosla Military School, then Bhosla Military Girls School, Bhosla Military College. In spite of that, we are having a CBSE school, then State Board Marathi medium and English medium school. And for these State Board Marathi medium, English medium and CBSE school, 7th and 8th standard students, those are day scholars, day boarders, they are taking the training every Sunday, 2 hours military training. Every Sunday, 35 Sunday, we are train them, and definitely for after the 2 years of training, their personality is groomed, their attitude is changed, and they are also thinking about why not to go in armed forces and serve our motherland. So these kind of efforts we are taking in last, we can say that 82, 83 years. And we feel that it is our duty to create the awareness about the security amongst the general people, society at large, as well as general students. So we are conducting such kind of lecture series. Along with that, every year that CHME Society is organizing military training courses. Mostly in summer vacation and in Diwali vacation, we are organizing rigorous military training courses for 1 month for girls as well as for boys. And also we are organizing personality development courses because Dr. Munje was thinking about this kind of courses, that because we should give our services to youth, because limited students will take admission in residential courses and they will get the training. But it is our duty to try maximum youth, give the training to the maximum youth of a military and make them a responsible citizen. So it is our basic job, basic function or basic objective, we can say that, to train the students and make them responsible citizens, as well as train the students for entering into armed forces. Along with that, in 2016, we have launched Kanoji Angre Maritime Research Institute. That Bhosla is thinking that we should have our own research institute, which will work somewhere, train some people, train some students by giving some courses about the maritime, maybe maritime security or related to maritime. So many aspects are there. These courses will be given to the students, and as well as possible, we can say that at the coastal area, the youth will be trained for their self-employment. The training will be given, the courses will be made available to them to make them self-employed, and they will not attracted to the Mumbai area or city area for their jobs or for their survival. So this is the thinking behind the Kanoji Angre Maritime Research Institute. It is my proud feeling that to say that from every corner of India, mostly the border area states are appealing us that to start Bhosla military school at our in our states, at our places, because the need is there more at the that particular border area. So we are trying to expand our society this particular kind of training, this particular kind of attitude, this particular kind of thinking, that the maximum states there will be a Bhosla military school, or such kind of training will be given to the students, and they will be also available such kind of training. And definitely we will try to reach maximum youth for this kind of making them responsible citizens. With this, I will say that our President General Dr. Shekatkar has supported us for selecting the speakers or giving us idea about this particular kind of lecture series. Then all our working president is there. Pramod Ji Kulkarni is also given a guidance to us to arrange such kind of lecture series. All these people are helping us, and this team is working behind such kind of event. Bhosla Military College principal and their team work very well. So many lecturers, so many, we can say that the people are working behind the screen for making this particular event successful. So on behalf of CHME Society, I am giving thanks to all. And also I am congratulating the team, those who have worked for this particular event. And also, again, I giving my thanks to General Om Praksh Soni for giving a different perspective of national security. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of Department of Defense and Strategic Studies of Bhosla Military College, I thank all the office bearers for organizing this kind of a lecture series and giving us opportunity to work in it. This has definitely enlightened us, and this has definitely motivated us. So thank you very much, sir. With this, may I declare that this function is over. So with your permission, may I declare that this function is over?
You are asking me?
Sir.
Thank you very much. I'm indeed grateful. I enjoyed being with you all, and to you and your team, and a special thanks to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We can leave now.
Right, sir.